all, welcome back. So my name is Beth. I go by the username Be More Creative both here on YouTube and on Instagram. So today we're going to be talking about counted cross stitch and got a couple of things to show you in this video. Today is where I'm going to be doing my 2021 my 2021 finish parade. Now I did do a whip parade during the Flossmas series, but I said I would also do a finish parade, which is what I'm going to do today, and I'm really quite surprised about how much stuff I actually finished during 2021. Bearing in mind that 2021 was my first full year of stitching. I started stitching in August 2020, so I am quite surprised at how much I got stitched during the year, but I am very happy to kind of have as much of it as possible grouped together. There are some pieces that I will have to try and insert photos if I can find them, because they were gifts for people that I've already gifted. So yeah, those I obviously don't have with me, but I will insert the photos. I do also just want to do my normal kind of floss tube where I show you my whips and the couple of finishes that I've finished since I last saw you all. So going to jump straight in with whips. Now I only have 2 whips, which is, well, I technically have 3. Whips is a work in progress. I'm only going to be showing you 2 of them today. The first one is the long awaited start on my Long Dog Sampler opening gambit. So this is a chart that I've had for quite some time. I wanted to start it in the summer. I've had the pull to start it ever since, but I kept putting it off. I kept saying, no, why are you starting it? You have so many things. But I did it. So I am stitching mine on a Jardin Design's silver tassels, and I have to say, guys, this is the smallest start ever. I started this on Christmas Day, so I literally just in the morning, and all I did was the bottom line, so going all the way across the bottom. I could have centered it a little bit more. I thought it was going to take more space on the fabric. And I'm stitching mine in Jardin Design's limited edition Millionaire Shortbread, which is this gorgeous fabric here, a gorgeous thread here. Absolutely love it. And that is my start. So there is like 200 stitches in there, but it doesn't look like I've done a whole lot. So I am really glad I have started that, and it will be one that I just chip away on here and there. Another one I've been working on is my Over the Rainbow by Hello from Liz Matthews. I'm not going to show you that one today. That one is going to be in a FlossTube Extra on the 15th of each month, because that is a challenge I have set myself for this year, is I will be creating something new with that design each month in 2022. So I'm not going to show you that one today. However, just know that that is one that I worked on. I worked on it on the plane on the way back and have been chipping away at that here and there. It is nearly finished and I need to FFO that one. The other one I have been working on is actually a new start. Now I am doing the challenge of Whip Go this year. I will include my board up here, but what I've done is I have decided to do themes. So I went through my whips and picked out different themes that could categorize those, but then I had some space left because a lot of mine are like Christmassy. I hadn't started my Long Dog at the time, so that wasn't on there, and there's certain pieces that I could fit into multiple categories, but I still had a couple left. So I knew there would be a couple which have been charts that I've wanted to start for quite some time, or charts that go along a theme that I want to be doing. So this year I want to carry on my gingerbread stitching. So those who were watching my channel at the end of last year saw that I was creating gingerbread pieces to make a gingerbread tree, and I absolutely loved it. So my new start, which is also for the Whip Go project of Words or Script, is, what is this one called? Is it Gingerbread Wishes, or Christmas Wishes by Primrose Cottage Stitching? And I am changing the colours so this will match up with my gingerbread stuff, because I absolutely love the shades that I'm using, and I will list those down in the comment section below. And of course my little caterpillar cross stitching gingerbread needle minder up there. He's adorable. But yeah, so I want to make sure that I have a gingerbread piece kind of on the go at all times. So this is the one that I'm currently working on, and hopefully I will get this finished this month. It is only going to be a really small one. I think it only goes down to the bottom of the Q-snap here, so this is a very small piece, but I absolutely love it. So Primrose Cottage Stitching is a company that I discovered quite recently, but I'm really glad that I have started it. I'm sorry if you can hear people in the corridor behind me. So that is the works in progress. I have one finish that I've finished in 2022, and that is I have completed this one. So this is a gingerbread ornament that I had started in 2021. I started it at the end just before I left, but I left this one here so I didn't take it with me, and I just had the outline done. This is by The World in Stitches. It is a free chart. It comes with 4 other pieces. I've decided so far just to stitch the gingerbread. I've put him on a wooden tag that I picked up in HomeSense in the clearance section. It's like a Christmas gift tag. It says "to from" on the back. I've just written 2022 because I do want to make sure that all of my ornaments have the year on, and I haven't received my charms yet for 2022. So it did come with this jute string and 3 beads on there. I then just added my 2 bows and my little gingerbread button. So that is another challenge I'm going to be doing for myself, is doing at least 1 ornament each month, so that way I can build up my cross stitch collection of stitched ornaments. So there is a finish. And the other finish I will show you a little bit later on, because I actually finished it on the 29th of December. So I am going to be going through my finish parade now. I do quickly just want to say, and I probably should have said this at the start, thank you to everyone for all the well wishes and all the lovely messages when I was leaving home. That was so nice to... It's always difficult when I have to say goodbye to my family, especially because, I mean, I can't just pop round on a day off and see them. I have to wait until the holidays, but it has been really nice and it meant a lot for all of those messages, so thank you so much for all of that. So let's jump into this finish whip parade. Now, I didn't think I was going to have that much to show you. I actually have a fair amount. It's kind of gathered all around me. So I'm going to not necessarily do it in date order, because what I do is I keep a track of my whips for the year. So this is my 2021 list. It is double-sided. And then I just put on here the name of the pattern, the designer, the start date and the finish. So the ones that have got the little highlight were the ones that were started on 2020, so they're on the blue page list, and I've just moved them over. I still need to set this up for 2022 because there are some charts here that I need to actually go back in and write down the finish date, because I did finish them either while I was away or when I was away from the school, so I couldn't put them in the book. And there's some here that I have decided either to not stitch the whole thing, which is why I originally put it in here, so I'll put a little note to say this and this part is now finished, or it could be that some of them, I think there's only 2 projects that I have just gotten rid of, and that is because I want to restart them. So I will just make a note to say I'm going to restart them, because either the fabric wasn't very good for that design, or whether there was an issue. One of them was a piece that I was stitching in white, and unfortunately we had a little accident and my piece has now been covered in coffee. So luckily I wasn't too far in the stitching. I will just restart it. I'll just make a note, and then I will, when I restart it, we'll put the new date of my restart. So I'm not going to do these in order, because the order they're in is kind of in the whip list order, so the order that I started them this. So my first finish of 2021 was To Be Thankful, and this is by Country Cottage Needlework. And I can't remember all of the fabric and everything. If I have it on my list of projects, I will put it down below. I have it written down somewhere, but I have a digital list that I started updating for YouTube purposes, so it may be on there. If it's not, just leave a comment down in the description box below if you want to know anything about any of these charts, and I will get you that information. So that is the first one, and a lot of these I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. I very much, when I was starting out, I was just picking pieces I like and just stitch them, and then they go in a bag under the bed, or it's actually now a box. It's got to the point where I need a box for my finishes. So some of them I have no idea, some of them I just haven't got around to FFOing yet. The next one I have here is Be Happy and Smile, and this one is by Jardin Prive. There is actually two in this series, and I absolutely love this. I love how stunning this gorgeous one is. And this is on a, I believe it's a Chromatic Alchemy piece of fabric. Depending on how much time I have to edit, I may just scroll the information across the screen, but if not, it will definitely be down below. So the next one is actually a series that I'm currently stitching. So the whole thing is not finished, however I did have a couple of pieces finished, and this is the Loose Feathers Blackbird Designs. So I'm currently on the third piece in this series. This is stitched on Chromatic Alchemy 16 count Dune with the called for DMCs. So the first one is, let me fold this over so it's a bit easier to see, is this block right here, and it's called It's Spring Fever. And with these ones, what I'm doing is I'm changing the initial in each block to represent my family. So that was one of my sister's blocks. The next block, which I finished, is this one here, is my block, and this one is this one is The Light Upon the Lawn, and then the one I'm currently working on is She Sights a Bird. So this was originally a series that I wanted to get done by the end of 2020. Obviously I was starting out really well. I did one a month at the start. I am going to do 9 out of the 12 patterns. I'm not going to do all 12 of them. There's just a couple that either I'm not fond of, but also the way I stitched it, I think it would be cutting it close to fit all 12 on the same piece of fabric in the order I want. So those are those ones. The next one I have is a 2021 loading, and this one is by Pixel Patterns on Etsy. It's stitched on, just looks like a white, oh no, I've stitched it on the back side. So this was a vintage storm fabric, I believe, and I've stitched it on the white plainer side of this. And with this, this was one of those ones where I've stitched in DMC Black 310, and then the red I was using, I think it might have been a Classic Colorworks, I can't remember the name of it, but I didn't have a lot of it left and I ended up running out, so I mixed in some DMC. But that one will eventually go in my journal when I get a chance to catch up on pieces. The next one I have here is one of my favourite finishes. This is one of the ones that I have framed myself and is up all year. This is Love Grows Here by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and I absolutely love this piece. I love the different colours in here. I changed the colours to purple, and I've actually stitched this one twice in 2021. So the first one I stitched was for my friend's wedding sampler, their anniversary, like their first year anniversary, and purple was the colours of their wedding. I have some charms that were left over. These were what me and my friend turned into like little on circles to go around the wine glasses. So I had a couple of those left over, and I had enough of the different purples. The purple thread that I was using, I can't remember what it is, but it's discontinued now, so you couldn't get it. So because I had enough left to redo it, I decided to restitch it for myself over the summer. So I absolutely love that piece. I then have, this was one that I had started in 2020, and all I had left to do in 2021 was a back stitch, so I finished this on New Year's Day. But this was of 2020, sorry. This was the Be Well freebie by Autumn Lane Stitchery that they put out, and I absolutely love this. This is just using colours from my stash. I just picked random colours that I had. Next up, I have a selection of different little charts. I believe these three here are Hands-on Designs freebies that she does. Now for her anniversary, her wedding anniversary, she shares a freebie with us all. And then I stitched all of these up with, this one I believe is a sulky variegated thread. They're stitched on random scraps of fabric. I have no idea what I have, but yeah, so this one I think it was meant to say something else, but I just stuck a heart bead on there. Be mine and a love. And I turned these into little pillows. They're not done the best, but they worked really well. And this was when I was first finishing items, so I hope that I've got a lot better since. Looking at what I have, it does look like my finishing has improved. But I love these, and they go on my tiered tray Valentine's Day. This one was also one that I stitched. This was in a magazine, so I have no idea where this came from, but it's my first time using metallic thread. And I believe that's the gold diamond from DMC. The next one I have is Bee's Portrait by, I want to say it's Little Stitcher. I will correct myself if that's wrong. Stitched with the called for colours. It is meant to have another section of bees at the bottom, but I decided I wanted to leave it just like this. I absolutely love how this looks. I think the plan was to finish this in a pillow. I just never got around to it, so absolutely love that one. And that one is stitched on 18 count vintage country mocha. The next one I have is Quaker Old Cliff by Jardin Prive, and I turned this one into a little pillow. I want to say this is stitched on 16 count, but I'm not entirely sure. As I said, I will list all the information either down below or it will be scrolled across the screen depending on how much time I have in editing. So the next one I have is, I stitched the March by, I think this is Country Cottage Needleworks, and the April Cottage. And what I've done is I've turned these into like little envelopes. I made the pillow base, so that way I can stitch the entire series and I can just have one bulky pillow and the rest are nice and flat and easy to store. I only managed to do April and March of this year, but I will be stitching the others at some point. I do have the whole series, but I do love that, and it looks really nice when it's in my tiered tray. With these I picked my own colours. They're sulky threads that I used. I did my own conversion. Next up was my first time releasing a freebie chart. So this is Stitching Blooms that I designed myself, and the charts that I design are stitched from stash style. So I tell you what I've stitched, but in my chart it will just say use a pink, a purple, a blue and a black and yellow for the bee. But yeah, so absolutely love this one. This one has a very special meaning and is up all year round. Next one I have is one that did not go to plan. So this is Daisy Seeds by Stitching with the Housewives. It's one of their first tiered tray tidbits that they released. And this one I chose my own colours, and I don't really like how it turned out. But this is going to be put into my stitching journal because it is one of the first pieces that I decided to completely just pick random colours as I went. It doesn't look too bad in person. I just think I used the kind of wrong corally colour, but I am going to put this in my stitching journal. Next up we have another Autumn Lane Stitchery piece. This would have been the May monthly. I changed this so it says Bloom in the middle instead. Not sure what I'm going to do with this one. Potentially it will end up in my stitching journal. And this is stitched on a 20 count piece of fabric that I hand dyed myself. And I do apologise, none of these are ironed. Next up, we have the Made to Create. This is a caterpillar cross stitch stitch along that they did throughout the year. I finished it in the summer and I absolutely love this one. This one I used Gingerbread Design's threads, her hand dyed variegated threads. I picked my own colours for it and I stitched it on 20 count Belliana in cream ivory. Absolutely love that piece. That piece, I kind of envisaged turning it into like a sign, like welcome to the craft room type thing, but I don't have a craft room, so I'm not really sure about that one yet. Next up we have another one that I have designed myself. This one I called Walk in the Park, and with this one I designed it using Eileen Designs threads, and I absolutely love how this one turned out. Nice and basic, very different. I don't think I would keep this one framed. I kind of want to put it in my journal and reuse the frame for something else because it does kind of get lost, but at the moment it's on display in the frame on my windowsill. I then have Mulberry Cottage, which was a stitching virtual by Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and I am just going to show the other one at the same time, Gingerbread Cottage. This one was done in December, or was it November? I think it was November actually, could have been December, I'm not sure, but I finished them in the same way as little ornaments. They have got, well, this one has got the year stitched on at the top, and this one's just got one of the 2021 charms on there. So the next one I don't actually have in person. It is my artist design that I created using Claire X Brown Stitch. I think that's how you say it. Her gorgeous printed fabric. I will insert a photo up here of the design, and this was one that I actually gifted to a family friend. Next up we have Dreaming Girl by Barbara Anna Designs. Absolutely love how this one turned out. This is, sorry, I have a strange thread on the back of it. Absolutely love how this one turned out, and I do have some of the other ones in the collection, and I am going to be picking up the winter one. I didn't pick it up at the time because I just didn't have time to do the mystery stitch along as well, but I will definitely pick it up because I'd like to stitch all of that series. I kind of see that one becoming a pillow, but I'm not 100% sure. The next one is a freebie from Blackbird Designs. This is Souvenir de France, and I just stitched this one up quickly while I was in France. This was a start and finish. My parents had gone to go pick up my sister who lived a couple of hours away, and I just sat down, caught up with some FlossTube and was just stitching this. I believe it's a sulky thread from the looks of it, and it's a 20 count Chromatic Alchemy in Cantaloupe, which is a gorgeous fabric. Next up, there's a couple of strawberries that I stitched from Blackbird Designs. I don't have photos of that one, I'm afraid. It was one that I had I'd stitched and gave to my sister, so I don't have any photos of those ones. I have the Hocus Pocus by Hello from Liz Matthews. This, I believe, am I going to say it? I think this is my favourite finish of 2021. This chart I stitched 1/1 on 25 count, so it was fairly small. It is still quite a large a large piece, but it's not as big as like the chart intended originally. And what I did was I don't know what the colour originally with the fabric is, but if you can see these stains here, I went over with a coffee pod after I'd stitched this, and this is stitched in 3371 DMC, so it's not black, it's like a dark brown, but I just dabbed the coffee on it. And then I've used a Tim Holtz fabric on the background, and this piece was just sitting at the top of my tier tray, and I absolutely love it, and it smells really nice as well. So yeah, I think that is my favourite finish of this year. We then have Catastrophe, which was a freebie from Autumn Lane Stitchery. This is stitched on a 16 count. It's just a random piece of fabric I had, and it's random threads. What I did when I went away was I had a couple of pieces of just, I had a 16 count, an 18 count and a 20 count random piece of fabric that didn't have a purpose, and whatever threads I had in the projects that I was working on. So really glad that I stitched one up. He's really cute. May end up in my stitching journal. The next one I have is Spirits and Spells by With Thy Needle and Thread. Now this one was my first time doing a finish that wasn't square. It's not perfect, but I do like how it looks, and I do need to go back and put a 2021 charm on there. I then have two Pantini ones. So Boo was her freebie that she put out. Now I was actually off ill from work when this came out, and then I managed to stitch it up the next morning just before going into work, so it was a really nice quick stitch. And then Trick or Treat, which is from one of her patterns, which I can't remember the name of. These are stitched, I believe it's 18 count, and it's annoying me because the name of fabric is going right out of my head, despite the fact that this is one of my favourite Jardin Designs fabrics. I will leave the information somewhere for you guys. Colours I picked myself. What do we have? Oh, next one is actually one of the last finishes that I did of the year, but it's the next on the whip list, is the Lucky Nutcracker Sal by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I absolutely loved this sal. I finished this one into a flat fold finish, so it stands up on its own. Absolutely love how this turned out, and I stitched mine 1/1 on 27 count. Fabric's gone out of my head. It's the same fabric as this, but you can see it looks very different when it's dyed on even weave. So this is 1/1 27 count even weave. Next up is my series ones here. So I stitched multiple stitching with the Housewives patterns this Christmas. So we have Jolly Claus and Merry Mrs Claus, and these are all stitched on 16 count chalkboard Aida by Witch Out, and they're all finished in exactly the same way. So I've got multiple layers of sticky board, and I used the Priscilla's Pretty Plaids in the black, finished with a black cross grain ribbon, piece of rickrack, a red bow and a gingerbread button in the middle. And then of course you have the 2021 charm. So the first two that I stitched up, I think actually Merry Mrs Claus was a 2020 finish, but I FFO'd her in 2021. We then have Sweet Delivery, and exactly the same on the back. We have Gingerbread Cottage, and we have I think this is Gingerbread Cookie, but I can't remember. So I'm not sure, but you'll see it on the Stitching Housewives Etsy. I then have the Hands-On Designs Cookie Exchange, which I finished mine. So this is an 18 count in... This is going to annoy me because this is one of the pieces that I was meant to message Michelle from Jardin Designs about. So this fabric is actually a special edition. I think it's Frosted Cookies Jardin Designs. I used the called for DMC, and I've sandwiched mine rickrack in the middle and just used the Chelsea's checks on the back, a bow, and my 2021. So another piece to go on my gingerbread display next year. So do I have, oh, the last finish that I have here to show you. Actually, I haven't shown you any of the ones that are in my journal. So I have 1/125 count Honeybee by Stitching with the Housewives. I was stitching these because I was planning to make a quilt featuring these. Let me just move my book out of the way. I was planning to make a quilt featuring these in the centre of hexagons. So I'm not sure if I'm going to still do that. If not, this will be in my journal. I finished What a Year, and I cannot remember who this is by. Oh, sorry, What a Year was actually finished in December of 2020. That's by Noob X Stitch. That's 2020 as well. That I believe was also 2020. Here we go. So I have this random one here, which is one, it's not actually a pattern. This was one my students, when they were first learning to cross stitch, those that wanted to try. I had one of the girls who tried it, bless her. She loves embroidery, but cross stitch is not for her. So she got the triangle done, and then she kind of looked at me and went, "Miss, I don't want to do this." I said, "That's fine, we can just take it apart." She went, "No, no, no, miss, I want you to try, and from this I want you to create something." So she had this triangle done, and then I turned it into a little boat with the sea and the little seagulls. So I had that stuck in here. This was I was going to do a makeup pattern and then decided I didn't want to do a whole piece on that, so I've just put the little piece in here. These are two Quirky Quakers that I did 1/1 on 32 count, so they're teeny tiny. I've got the hedgehog and the fox, and then my 25, which is the Madame Chantilly calendar. So talking about that, I actually have some finishes that for some reason are not noted down in my book. So I created some cross stitch pieces for my sister. So if I have photos, I will put them up here. There was two mini artist ones, which was Starry Sky and the Scream. My Scream, I made a mistake, and now no one can unsee how it looks like the Scream is giving everyone the finger. If my sister sends these pictures through in time, I will make sure I edit those in. My last finish for 2021 was January from Pantinis, and this is my series this year I'm doing for my calendar, is the Pantinis monthly series. So on Instagram at the start of each month on the 1st, you will see the new month's picture. So I think that is everything. If I've forgotten any, which I know I have, I've forgotten one that I've forgotten is, no, that was Stitch in 2020. So if there's any others that I've forgotten, I will make sure I leave a photo just after this video with that information. So what I will be doing over the next couple of days is photographing all of these, and they will appear on my Instagram as an Instagram reel. I will have a finished parade of 2021 with the details, so that way anyone can go on and have a look at those. And I think I'm pretty much done. So that's me. FlossTube 21 is now complete. I will be back in 2 weeks' time. I will be filming every 2 weeks like I did last year. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day and happy stitching. Bye guys!